Hey everyone, Noir here. Let's get into today's Reddit story.
I came home early and overheard my girlfriend bragging about cheating on me, so I packed my things and left without saying a word. Now she keeps making excuses and is desperately trying to find me, but I have blocked her everywhere. I am a 38-year-old man, and I just found out that my 36-year-old girlfriend of 5 years cheated on me. I could not have imagined finding out in a worse way. A little background about me. I have never been married, and I do not have any children. It is not because I never wanted those things. Life just never worked out that way. Last Friday after work, I headed to one of my friend's cabins on the lake for our usual weekend trip with the guys. We do this every few months to relax, go fishing, have a few drinks, play games, and just enjoy ourselves. I normally stay the whole weekend and drive straight to work from the cabin on Monday morning. This time, though, I realized I had left my laptop in my office at home. Around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I left the cabin and started driving back. I figured I would get home around 6, and I assumed Megan had not eaten yet. I called our favorite Italian restaurant, ordered dinner, picked it up on the way, and headed home. Everything seemed normal when I walked inside. I could hear Megan laughing in the kitchen, so I thought I would surprise her. As I got closer, I realized she was talking on the phone. At first, I thought she was speaking with her sister or one of her friends. Then I heard her say, "Last night was amazing. He was such a thoughtful lover." A few seconds later, she said, "I have never experienced anything like it." Then she added, "We met on Tinder. He took me out last night, and by the time we got through the door, we barely made it to the couch." Finally, she laughed and said, "Oh my God, he was about twice as big as my name. I will definitely be seeing him again." The food fell out of my hands and hit the floor. Megan heard the noise and turned around. By then, my eyes were already filling with tears. She ended the call and rushed toward me, but I pushed past her, went upstairs, grabbed my laptop, and walked right back out the door. For the last 4 days, Megan has been constantly calling and texting me, but I have not answered once. I am staying at a motel a couple of towns away, so I doubt she will find me. My friends and my mom have called because Megan has been frantically trying to locate me. I told everyone I was safe and that they did not need to worry. I honestly believed she was the woman I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I am an only child, and my mom always reminds me that she wants grandchildren. I had already bought an engagement ring and planned to propose this 4th of July on our 6th anniversary. The friend who introduced us to each other and his wife already knew about my plan because they host our annual 4th of July cookout. I have never been through anything like this before, and I am completely broken. Should I contact Megan and let her explain herself? After hearing that phone call, just thinking about her makes me sick. Most people have told me the same thing. She was not only cheating, she was proudly bragging about it. They said I should never look back because I already heard everything I needed to hear. Others reminded me that I was lucky to find out before marriage instead of years later. One man shared that he ignored the warning signs, stayed with his wife for 27 years, had 3 children with her, and later discovered she had cheated on him multiple times. His advice was simple: do not make the same mistake I did. That night, after we got back to the hotel, I told my buddies everything I had overheard. They were stunned. They asked if I had ever noticed any signs, but honestly, I hadn't. I also told my friend the proposal was off, and he completely understood. Before leaving, I asked my buddies to turn off their location sharing in case their girlfriends checked where they were. Megan was close to one of the wives, and I did not want to take any chances. That night, we sat at the hotel bar, and I drank way too much. My friends kept getting calls from their significant others asking where we were, but they backed me up and only said we were safe. One of the wives wanted to talk to me because Megan was worried, but I refused and told my buddy to handle it. I even spent part of the night flirting with the bartender and a couple of women who were in town for work, which I am not proud of. The next day, my friends headed home. Later that week, one of them drove by our rental house and told me Megan had gone back to work on Wednesday after taking Monday and Tuesday off. As soon as I knew she was gone, I went to the house and packed all my belongings. The place was a mess. Dirty dishes, clothes everywhere, and trash overflowing with takeout containers. It took me about 3.5 hours to move everything out. Before leaving, I cleaned up the house one last time. That afternoon, Megan realized I had emptied the place, and my phone immediately filled with calls and texts. For now, I am staying with my mom until I find another place. The landlord said he cannot remove me from the lease without Megan's signature, so I have to keep paying my half until October. Yeah, 38 years old and living with my mom again. Life has a funny way of humbling you. On Thursday, I finally texted Megan and agreed to meet at a local bar and grill Friday night. I told her one of my buddies would be there the whole time. She wanted me to come home instead, but I refused. Eventually, she agreed. My buddy and I got there first. I had already eaten and taken a couple of shots to calm my nerves. Megan tried making small talk, but I cut her off. I told her I had a list of questions. The first thing I asked was how long she had been cheating. She claimed it only happened once. I told her to stop lying because we were never getting back together. I just wanted the truth. A few minutes later, she admitted everything. For the past 2 years, every time I went on those weekend trips with my friends, she assumed I was cheating, so she cheated too. That excuse made me furious. I told her she was just looking for a reason to sleep around. I asked who she had been talking to on the phone, but she refused to tell me. Then I asked if they used condoms. She said, sometimes. I told her I had already tested negative for sexually transmitted diseases, so she should probably get tested too. Before leaving, I showed her the engagement ring I had already bought. I told her I was going to propose on the 4th of July at our friend's party, the same place where we first met. She broke down crying and begged for another chance. I told her I would always love her, but we were finished. She has been messaging me ever since, but I am about to block her for good. Right now, I am sitting here eating Buffalo Wild Wings, drinking a beer, and watching the fights. I doubt I will ever speak to Megan again. Most people in the comments said they knew she would claim it only happened once. They also said blaming me by saying she thought I was cheating was nothing more than shifting the blame. Classic cheater behavior, trying to make it seem like this was somehow your fault. I do not buy that for a second. I am sorry your landlord would not let you out of the lease, but at least you have your mom there for you. It is far from an ideal situation, but it is only temporary, and you will get through it. This is completely her loss. She had a good man who loved her, wanted to marry her, and was ready to spend his life with her. Instead of valuing that, she threw it all away for a little bit of fun. Now your focus needs to be on yourself and your recovery. Stay away from alcohol, take care of yourself, and give yourself time to heal. You are going to be okay. I am glad to hear you are staying sober. What is really sad is that she tried to justify everything by saying she thought you might cheat on one of your work trips. That is just an excuse to make herself feel better about the choices she made. The fact that she would not tell you who she was talking to makes me think someone else knows exactly what happened. My guess is it was somebody in your circle of friends, possibly even one of your buddies' wives. She probably stayed quiet because naming that person could have caused problems for them too. If someone was encouraging or covering for a cheater, that could create a lot of issues. It might not be a bad idea to give your friends a heads up. Looking back at the way she acted in the restaurant, I never got the feeling she was truly remorseful. She kept revealing the truth little by little, instead of being completely honest. If she had genuinely regretted what she did, she would have broken down long before you showed her the ring. I think it only really hit her after she realized you had been planning to propose, and she understood exactly what she had thrown away. Now it is time to leave the alcohol behind and focus on moving forward. I really hope things get better for you, and if you ever find out who was on the other end of that phone call, I hope you come back and let us know. Update 2. Hey everyone. First of all, I just want to thank all of you for the support and kind words. They have meant a lot to me. A few things have happened over the last day, so I figured I would post another update. Nothing too major, but there are a couple of things worth mentioning. The biggest one is that Megan is no longer invited to the 4th of July cookout. That means I can go without worrying about running into her or dealing with any confrontation. Some of you might remember that in my last update I mentioned one of the wives at the bar was trying to convince me to talk things through with Megan. She is also the one who hosts the 4th of July cookout every year. The reason she was trying to help Megan was because Megan had told her she only cheated once and that it had been a terrible mistake. She believed that story, so she thought there was still a chance for us to work things out. When I talked to her this past Tuesday, I told her everything that had really happened. I did not leave anything out. She called Megan right away, and Megan admitted that everything I had told her was true. She was furious. She started yelling at Megan and told her it would be best if she stayed away from the cookout since I was going to be there. After that, she apologized to me for trying to get me to forgive Megan. I told her none of this was her fault, because she had been lied to just like I had. We had both believed someone we trusted. As for who Megan was talking to on the phone, I still cannot say for sure. My best guess is that it was her sister. The two wives who were closest to Megan still insist they had no idea she was cheating. They told me that whenever I was away on Saturday nights, they would all have a girls' night at my house until around 11 o'clock, drinking wine and talking about normal things. Another woman who joined those nights, even though she was not especially close to Megan, backed up their story. The main reason I think it was Megan's sister is because I have tried contacting her 3 different times. I have not gotten a single text or phone call back. Megan's mom also called me. She said Megan was having a hard time with the breakup and asked if there was anything they could do to change my mind. I told her as politely as I could that my decision had been made and there was nothing that would change it. I went back to work on Monday after taking the previous week off, so I am slowly getting back into my normal routine. I am also done with alcohol for a while. My liver definitely deserves the break. This community has helped me more than I can explain, and I truly appreciate every comment and every bit of support. I do not know if I will have another update after this because it feels like this situation has finally come to an end. Megan has also been blocked on every platform, so she has no way of contacting me now. The host of the cookout told me Megan is not doing well at the moment. She mentioned that before I explained everything that had actually happened. But that is just the way life works sometimes. I am hurting too. The difference is that I am choosing to move forward and leave all of this behind me. Thanks again, everyone. You all have been incredible. After we met that day, we did not really talk for a while. We started speaking again when she sent me a message on Facebook. From there, our conversations slowly grew. At first, we just asked each other random questions, but eventually, we started talking about more personal things. I liked her personality. She was energetic, funny, and always easy to talk to, whether it was through messages or phone calls. After weeks of getting to know each other, I asked her out, and she agreed. Our first date went incredibly well, and it naturally turned into more dates. Before I knew it, we were in a relationship. I had been hurt badly in my previous relationship, and I was scared to fall in love again. Because of that, I focused on work and avoided getting close to women. But my wife was different. She made me feel safe and gave me confidence again. I felt at peace with her, and I loved her more than I thought I could love someone. Eventually, we got married. My wife had always wanted a child, so we had our daughter during the first year of our marriage. She was already 2 months pregnant before we got married. I was not planning on having a child that quickly, but seeing how excited she was made me agree. When our daughter was born, I was extremely happy. She brought so much joy into my life and made me want to become a better husband and father. As our daughter grew older, she became very close to me because I worked from home. I was the one who took her to daycare and picked her up. My wife was a nurse, so she mostly spent time with our daughter on her days off or when she was home. Since I was home more often, I also handled most of the housework. I cleaned, did laundry, and cooked when needed. I wanted to make things easier for my wife because I knew how tired she was after work. I knew she did not have enough energy to come home, clean the house, shop for groceries, and cook after a long shift, so I did what I could to help. For the first 3 years of our marriage, things were great. We had normal arguments like any couple, but they never lasted long. We were happy and did everything we could to raise our daughter well. Then, in the 4th year of our marriage, things started changing. My wife began coming home later than expected. If she worked an afternoon shift and was supposed to return in the evening, sometimes she would not come home until the next day. She always had a reason. She would say she covered for a sick coworker or decided to work overtime. At first I understood, but eventually it became a pattern. It started affecting our relationship, and our daughter began missing her mother. I had to keep making excuses whenever she asked why her mom was not home. At the same time, our intimacy completely changed. My wife stopped wanting to be close to me. Whenever I tried, she would say she was too tired or that she was not in the mood. This continued for weeks and then months. I became worried about our marriage, so I signed us up for counseling. But she never showed up to any appointment. As things got worse, I finally opened up to a close friend. He suggested that maybe my wife was either seeing someone else or had become unhappy with our marriage. I refused to believe it. I trusted my wife completely, and cheating was something I never thought she would do. I even argued with my friend and told him she was probably just working hard because she wanted a better future for our daughter. I tried talking to my wife about our problems, but every time I brought it up, she was either cold or seemed uninterested in the conversation. After months of trying to fix things, the thought that she might be with someone else started crossing my mind. There were also small changes I had noticed. She used to go grocery shopping wearing simple clothes, but suddenly she became much more concerned about her appearance. She started wearing better outfits and even combining different perfumes just to go shopping. I did not think much of it because I had always complained that she did not care enough about how she dressed outside the house. I actually saw it as a good change. Then one day, she was playing with our daughter in the living room while I was in the kitchen making dinner. Her phone rang. Instead of answering it there, she immediately walked outside the house. And that was when I started feeling like something was seriously wrong. 2 years of dating and more than 4 years of marriage, my wife had never once gone outside to answer a phone call. It did not matter who was calling or what the conversation was about. She always took her calls inside. So out of curiosity, I stopped what I was doing and followed her. I did not leave the house, but because she left the door open, I was able to hear most of the conversation. When she came back inside, I quickly returned to the kitchen and acted like nothing happened. She walked in like everything was normal, played with our daughter for a few minutes, and then asked me what groceries we needed. I told her the things we were running low on, and she wrote everything down. After making the list, she said she would go to the store since she had nothing else to do at the moment. I did not need anyone to tell me something was wrong. Her behavior and body language already showed me that something was different. I watched her go into our bedroom, take a shower, change clothes, and even put on light makeup just to go grocery shopping. For months, we had barely acted like a married couple. We were not spending time together, and our communication was nowhere near what it used to be. But suddenly, she was excited and getting dressed up for a trip to the grocery store. As soon as she left, I asked my closest neighbor if his oldest daughter could watch our daughter for a little while. He agreed, and I immediately left. I drove to the grocery store I knew she usually went to. When I arrived, I stayed in my car for a few minutes. Just as I was about to get out and check if she was really shopping, I saw her walking out of the store with another man. Her arm was around his waist, and his arm was around her shoulders. It was already evening, and the store was brightly lit. Because the front walls were made of glass, I could clearly see them before they even walked outside. I was already furious, and before I could even think, I rushed into the store. I was completely overwhelmed with anger. Even now, I cannot believe how I reacted in that moment. My wife was shocked when she saw me. She looked completely lost and did not know what to say. I did not even bother arguing with her because deep down, I already knew our marriage was over. Instead, I focused on the man she was with. I yelled at him and caused a scene. People started gathering around and recording what was happening, but I did not care. At that moment, all I felt was anger and betrayal. Eventually, his manager found out that he was involved with my wife, and he ended up losing his job. My wife came home that night crying and begging me to forgive her. But no matter what she said, I could not get past what she had done. She admitted that she cheated because she thought she could hide it, get away with it, and eventually come back to me like nothing happened. Hearing that hurt even more. That same night, I told her to leave, and she went to stay with a friend. She had been seeing that man for more than 6 months, and I had no idea. During all that time, she was telling me stories about covering shifts for coworkers and other excuses, while she was actually spending nights with him and leaving me alone to take care of our daughter. There is no need to ask if we divorced, because we did. I could not forgive what she did, or simply forget that she betrayed me while I was trying my best to be a good husband and father. Thankfully, I was awarded custody of our daughter. The main reason was that my wife was barely around during that time anyway, so it was considered better for our daughter to stay with me. It has been over a year now, and I still have not fully healed from the pain and disappointment. I was hurt then, and honestly, I still am. But my daughter is my #1 priority. I will continue doing everything I can to be the best father possible and teach her the importance of loyalty and being faithful to the person she chooses to build a life with.